The Los Angeles Lakers have finally snapped Denver's 9-game winning streak, as well as putting a dent in Denver's 13-1 record against the Lakers in their last 14 matchups in a Luka masterclass where the Lakers easily won the game 123-100. This game felt like a clear domination both offensively and defensively for the Lakers, which again is pretty rare to see because in recent history the Nuggets have pretty much stomped all over the Lakers. And I think the biggest factor in the victory is how the Nuggets defended the MVP candidate Nikola Jokic. So let's get right into this breakdown of what they did and why it worked so well. And right before I start, I hope you consider subscribing and liking this video, maybe giving me some of your own input in the comments below. Right from the tip-off, rather than center Jackson Hayes having the Jokic assignment, it was a gritty Rui Hachimura. And right off the bat, I want to say Rui did a great job on Jokic tonight. 5 seconds into the game, Rui is putting his body all over Jokic on the perimeter, making it difficult to get any post position. JJ Redick knows what Denver's bread and butter is. The Nuggets are second in the league in post-ups, and a Jokic post-up specifically is one of the most efficient plays in basketball. So having his guys constantly front the post and not allow Jokic to get any entry passes was a great idea. Around a minute in, Jokic tries to get the ball in the low post, but Rui Hachimura already is getting his body under Jokic and forces a turnover. I can't really blame this on Jokic, and I can't give all the credit to Rui. This just seemed to be a bad pass from Christian Braun, but it's kind of foreshadowing for more of what we're going to see later. On this next possession, a Jokic-Murray handoff forces Reeves and Rui to switch, and right away Reeves gets his body in front of Jokic and cuts off a pass. Murray isn't really confident in his ability to throw it over Reeves and lead Jokic because LeBron is lurking in the paint ready to help off. LeBron is then forced onto Jokic and again gets in front of him and cuts off any entry passes, ending in an empty possession for the Nuggets. On this possession, you can see the Nuggets finally use the fact that the Lakers are leaving a lane open to their advantage. MPJ passes, rare, over Reeves to where only Jokic can reach, and Hayes is forced to help, resulting in an easy dunk for Aaron Gordon. And this shows that great players like Jokic will impact a game positively, whether they're scoring or not. The only downside to what the Lakers were doing is that more often than not, Jokic is going to find the open man. But on this play, Jokic gets Rui alone in the post right where he wants him, and that forces Reeves to sag off his man and leave Brown open, but he ends up missing the shot. Honestly, I think the Lakers would rather live with a semi-contested 3 compared to a Jokic post-up. On the very next possession, the Lakers just end up having a lapse and end up leaving Aaron Gordon wide open. So far, it hasn't been that bad, but it only gets worse. Here, Jokic gets another post-up on Rui, and rather than sagging off like before, Austin Reeves floods Jokic and makes him pass. But again, he makes the right play and passes to an open man. But this time, the Lakers rotated very well and got a very good contest on Gordon. As the game continued on, Rui wasn't always guarding Jokic, and instead other people were kind of switched onto him. On this play, Westbrook attempts a risky pass to Jokic in the low post, but Vanderbilt was already prepared with his body in front of Jokic and managed to break the pass up. This was another play where, again, Vanderbilt was fronting Jokic, and it caused Westbrook to throw the ball right over his head. They ended up calling a foul on Vanderbilt that I'm not sure I agree with, but a call's a call. And then this play was another time when the Lakers made a pretty big mistake, but I think it shows a lot about Jokic's gravity. The Lakers were so focused on keeping Jokic from getting the ball that both Rui and LeBron ended up fronting Jokic. This ended up with a wide open look for Braun. I'm only going to assume that this was on LeBron because Rui's been guarding Jokic all game, but I'm not in the film room, so what do I know? And with the clock ticking down in the first, Jokic gets his first field goal of the game. Not on a half-court play or anything, but a putback layup. So far, at the end of the first quarter, Jokic is clocking in at 7 points and 4 assists, 5 of those 7 points being off free throws. And this will actually prove to be Jokic's best quarter of the entire game. Jokic ends up checking back in with about 8 minutes left in the second and gets his first post touch here, where he collects 2 defenders and dimes it to a cutting Gordon. But he ends up getting blocked by Braun, and right after getting the offensive board, Jokic gets blocked by Dalton Connect, a mess of a possession spearheaded by the Lakers, packing the paint and putting multiple bodies on Jokic. Unfortunately for the Lakers, that ended up being in vain because Jokic hit his second field goal in classic Jokic vs. Lakers fashion, where he's spinning around as the clock hits 0 and hits a fadeaway midi. But let it be known, this was the last shot Jokic made all game, and there's still 6.5 minutes left in the second quarter. This guy averages 30 points a game. You can see here again Rui playing very physical with Jokic, denying him the ball as the Nuggets moved it around trying to find an opening to funnel it to Jokic, but they just couldn't. They managed to keep this up the whole possession, and it ended with Aaron Gordon having to settle for a step-back mid-range shot, something that the Lakers are more than happy with living with. On this play, things were changed up a bit. Jackson Hayes ended up on Jokic, so Jokic took his time and sent a complete dime Aaron Gordon's way. As well of a job the Lakers did tonight, there's not much of anything you can do to a 7-footer who can do things like this. Jokic is incredible. But right after that, with about 3 minutes left till halftime, this was maybe my favorite part of the night and I think the most symbolic. LeBron tries to front Jokic, but he loses positioning and ends up getting back down. LeBron shifts his body towards the free throw line and leaves the baseline lane relatively open for Jokic to spin. But this is where the Lakers game plan flourished. The moment he turned around, 2 other Lakers jumped straight to him with their arms in the air, resulting in a turnover. The Lakers completely hounded him in the paint, and as a self-proclaimed Jokic superfan, it was honestly really interesting to watch. Out of the next timeout, the Nuggets tried to use Jokic in another post-up where they managed to get LeBron on him again, but not for very long, because the moment Jokic started his dribble, Rui, again being a pest, jumped right towards him, hounding Jokic for yet another turnover off a double. Here you can see another time the Jokic flooding actually worked against the Lakers, where Bron and DFS were so concerned on cutting off a Jokic entry pass that it led to Rui being forced to guard a pick and pop set by himself, resulting in an easy pull-up 3 for Jamal Murray. After that, there was another Jokic turnover that you can't really give credit to the Lakers for. This was just a slippery hand situation, but LeBron did a good job rotating. And after that, the quarter was over. Jokic ended the first half with 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists on 2 of 4 shooting, 7 of those points being free throws, and 3 turnovers. Overall, this is a very good half for almost every player in the entire league. Sadly, Jokic, his insane play holds him to a higher standard compared to other players, meaning this was kind of disappointing. Jokic usually averages about 5 shot attempts per quarter, and he didn't even hit that in the first half. I want to blame this on a lack of aggression thing, but it's clear he was trying to get the ball, and the Lakers did a very good job just denying him that. This was kind of surprising to me because when I think of the Lakers defense, I don't really think of some suffocating force that's going to stop entry passes and stuff, but they played super gritty and super aggressive. I guess there's kind of that Nuggets-Laker rivalry here to feel that, but what do I know? Overall, this first half for Jokic wasn't even that bad, but honestly, I think the third quarter was probably his worst. Coming out of the half, Jokic ended up playing the entire third quarter, and that sadly didn't do anything for his stats. Unfortunately for this video, Jokic played a lot less aggressively this quarter, not trying all that much to receive passes inside the arc and make something happen. And then the times that he did, it just didn't work out. He made some fine passes, but not many of them were in the deep post like he prefers. This play, the Lakers continued to be aggressive, while Jokic tried to bait the foul and it just didn't work. I feel like this whole quarter just nothing was happening for Jokic. Even this wide open 3, which Jokic is very good at usually, couldn't fall for him. And shout out Rui for hitting the cornet contest, I think that's hilarious. But right here, this play had Jokic finally put his head down and try to get to the rim, where he was again met by 3 Lakers. Even though it ended up with him being fouled, I think the Lakers did a great job of being aggressive on him and just stopping him. And after that, that's kind of just how the third quarter ended for Jokic, with 1 point off a free throw and 5 assists with a turnover. Obviously, his playmaking was good, but some of those assists came from stuff he really didn't have a direct impact on. A lot of this video can't even be that much of lowlights, it was just a lack of play by Jokic. He just didn't have the normal impact that he usually has on a basketball game. But by this point, the game was pretty much over. He came back in for like 3 minutes in the middle of the fourth, but that was short-lived, especially after in those 3 minutes, Jokic went 0 for 2 from the field with another 2 turnovers. And just to give some flowers, look at this hustle by Bron. I know he gets a lot of crap for not trying sometimes. Man, he was trying his ass off on Jokic tonight. He clearly cared a lot about this game. He's 40 years old, he's doing all this. And Jokic just couldn't even get stuff going on fast breaks. Like, this turnover was just ugly. How are you getting your pass picked so easily by Luka Doncic? Props to him though, he had 4 steals tonight. And right after this, he tried to get a post-up going, but then his pass to Brown just bounced right off his knees and resulted in his 6th turnover of the night. After that, Jokic subbed out and he didn't come back in, ending his night on a very reflective note of the game that just transpired. Jokic finished that game with 2 field goals made, 8 points worth of free throws, 10 assists, 13 rebounds, and 6 costly turnovers. Even though this doesn't seem that bad, by Jokic standards, this was probably his worst game of the year. And this whole video went without talking about the Lakers' offense, which was just as suffocating as their defense. They consistently targeted Jokic on defense, and Luka finally had his first Laker masterclass with 32, 10, and 7 with 4 steals to go along with it, 2 of which ended up being on Mr. Nikola Jokic himself. Overall, I think Jokic did what he could this game. Some poor passes and lack of aggression later in the game, but that's just what happens when you're truly being hounded all game. He had to have been gassed. I think JJ Redick did a very good job empowering Luka for this game and planning out defensive schemes to stop Jokic. Having Rui guard Jokic instead of Jackson Hayes worked out extremely well. And even when Rui was out for a bit with what seemed to be an abdomen injury, he came back, so don't worry. Other Lakers like Jared Vanderbilt and even LeBron for some portions did a great job fronting and denying Jokic any entry passes. A game like this is huge for both the Lakers and Luka, who have struggled a bit as of recent, but I don't think the Nuggets should be too worried. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the Nuggets were on a 9-game win streak right before this. Granted, they didn't play any good teams, but it was still a very dominant run. And all I'm taking away from this is that the Thunder fans are going to have a field day with this and their Shea MVP agendas. I know there wasn't a lot of lowlights, and it didn't really look like Jokic was playing the worst basketball ever, but again, it wasn't that he was missing shots or turning over the ball a lot. I mean, he did, but the turnovers weren't super disgusting to the point where you look at this game from Jokic and think, wow, that's going to put a real dent in your MVP case. I think the Lakers just did a really good job at just not letting Jokic get the ball. They just completely shut him out of this game and made him a non-factor. It was awesome. Anyways, if you enjoyed this type of video, let me know by liking or subscribing. I tried something a little bit different with this. I don't know if I did a good job. You gotta let me know. And if you have anything to add about the game that I just didn't cover, I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Peace.